Hi guys, welcome to another episode. Today we're going to talk about how to develop nonlinear fills. So linear fills have always this good feeling of playing many notes and making it feel like there's a lot going on, and it's very cool because it gives you that fast feeling most of the times. And it just sounds great. But sometimes developing nonlinear fills can also be a great tool because we can implement them with the linear fills that we're doing and make some points where it's like the linear fill reach a peak and we can use the nonlinear fill. But on the other side, it can be kind of weird to create a nonlinear fill which is not made only of playing snare and cymbals together or kick and cymbals together. So today we're going to see some variations and how we can use this type of fills in a musical way and in different points of, for example, a song or of a groove or of a fill itself. So as you guys may know, a linear fill is when every stroke plays isolated, so it's none of our arms or limbs ever play together. Instead, of course, a nonlinear fill will be opposite of that. It's going to be when two parts of our body are playing unison, so it can be the hands, the feet, or one hand and one foot, and so on. First of all, I want to also talk about something that in a nonlinear fill situation, and this also works in linear fills, but in a nonlinear fill it's even more important, in my opinion, is that whenever we choose how to, which parts of our body, which parts of our drums we want to play together, what makes a good sound, what makes the nonlinear fill sound good is the opposition of frequencies, meaning that, for example, the bass drum is a very low, has a very low frequency. Instead, the snare drum, for example, has a very high frequency. So it's good to mix them together, because if not, for example, if I mix the bass drum and the floor tom, it won't have the same effect. It will feel like weird. So let's start, for example, to see a couple of variations that we can do using the nonlinear fill. Usually how I do this is I either start with the sticking in my hands, so for example the paradiddle, and then I choose to, for example, put the kick unison to all the right hand strokes, so something like this. When we speed this up, this is the result. And it gives you this nice effect because it just follows the right hand, so it's not too complicated, it's just. But it creates this nice effect. So in my opinion, this is a good way. And by the way, playing snare and kick together, it's another great effect that I like to do and I like to use. Or for example, I can accent all the, I can play with my bass drum all the accents of the paradiddle. So for example, then I can add accents to the paradiddle. Or I can play all the strokes that I play with my left hand. Okay, and so on. I can create all this type of pattern just basing the kick on what my hands are doing. So either choosing follow the right hand for the left hand for the strokes, the accents, sorry. Or I can also create patterns or play strokes with my bass drum that are not going exactly with what my hands are doing. So it doesn't follow any specific parts that my hands are playing, but they're creating like a feeling underneath, like if I'm going into something like, for example, something like this. okay, this gives me like a feeling that my hands are doing something, and the bass drum is kind of like starting to build up something to get somewhere, you know. And it goes somewhere. It's like a little phrase that I'm putting underneath. Or I can play, I don't know, like a 7 or a 5 on top of what I'm doing here. And go on in the groove. And you know, it's just all these effects that we can apply and use to create something and to, you know, have the possibility of doing stuff with our hands and then starting to build something on top of it that's going to introduce in what's coming next.